All right, high vibrations, beautiful souls, and all that good shit. Tonight we're going to tap in on the energy of this strawberry full moon. I won't be long tonight, but I definitely want to deliver. I would say, a message my style. Y'all know, so I will be doing these lives or these zooms kind of differently now. If you would like as always, if you would like a personal breakdown, you can always book that. My Patreon uses once again it is $77, and for everyone else that is not, it is $99. So if you want an understanding of what this energy means for you, especially dealing with the transits that are happening, I'm gonna speak more into it tonight, of course. But if you want a personal breakdown, make sure you book that. Make sure you hit me up so I can get that going for you. So appreciate you all for being here and all that good shit. We're gonna get into it. This is a very powerful energy, as you heard Sadhguru come in, and as the opening, talking about the first aspect of when the yogi was born, or Shiva, right? And you're talking about an aspect of a principle of balance and harmony and everything that Shiva represents in the Indian culture. But just to translate it over to us, there's a reason why Shiva was blue, representing the masculine principle. Shiva was nothing without the aspects of the Kali, even talking about how we bring things more into our awareness and use the throat chakra as we go into the higher sense of ourself, being able to channel information. When you're talking about the yoga culture, it is something that is very scientific when it comes to the body, all right, and understand the chakras and what yoga is all about. So it is a good time to really tap into the body, the flesh. A good time to really govern your desires of the flesh accordingly. This is the disciplined energy of the full moon dealing with Capricorn. All right. So I have a PDF, of course, in natural fashion prepared, but the PDF is different. I didn't go off into a lot of the zodiacs. Um, if you want the small PDF that I have, because it's just a few pages, just 28 pages. But I didn't break down any zodiac signs or anything like that because I wanted to make it more personal, make my workshops more personal. So if you want to deal with that, because I put a lot of time and energy into those PDFs, and then it's just something that I just don't want to energetically engage into anymore if the receptivity of it is not there. All right. So if you want a personal breakdown, your own personal PDF, you can definitely get that. All right. But I do have a PDF I'm going to go by right now. Let me get up in here real quick. Let me start sharing my screen. Oh, wait, let me hit mute upon entry because I know some people gonna start coming in. Let me go into these host tools. All right, here. This is my nephew right here. He called me. Let me see here. I think I turned it on. Hold on, let me make sure I turn this on these host tools, y'all. Host tools. There we go. Okay. All right, that way I won't have to do too much. Okay, here. Okay. All right, now let me share my screen here. Text my nephew, tell him to tap on in. All right, here. Up in here. Strawberry. Okay. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you. All right. Now, this full moon, it's a little bit different. because this is the first full moon after the summer solstice, right? So this is literally like the harvest before the next chapter. You know, I'm gonna talk a little bit more into that on the level of our consciousness and what that means as well. So the strawberry moon represents one of nature's greatest teachings, right? You do not harvest what you wish for, you harvest what you became, right? Consistent enough to cultivate. Okay, the things that you have done over time are what the harvest is about. This ain't about no instant gratification, right? This is less about manifestation, than demonstration. So the universe isn't asking, what do you want? It is asking, what have you become capable of sustaining at this point in your life? That is the medicine of this moon. All right. Now the spiritual meaning of it is every full moon represents illumination. Now we talking about, but this full moon in particular is unique because it arrives just after the summer solstice, making it the first full moon of the new solar season. So remember, the summer solstice marks a new solar season because the sun is making its return into the Earth's atmosphere, and whatever the case may be, when it comes to the closeness of the sun dealing with the summertime, and the closeness of the moon dealing with the winter. All right. So it asks, how do you, it asks you to measure how far you've come, not against other people, but against the version of yourself that entered this year. All right. Remember, we're in the middle of the year. This is the 6 month mark. We're going into the 7 month, right? So when we talking about where has your consciousness matured? What identities have become too small? Too little. What things are too little? You're too little to go where you're going. That's a new thing in basketball. You too little. Put the hand down. You too little. It's a whole new silly now, right? So what habits, right, have quietly become your destiny? Because the habits that we've cultivated, right, what are they rooted in? Because if you want to look at your future, you got to look at what you're doing today, right? See what relationships have finally shown their true nature. This is less a moon of endings than one of honest accounting. See, being able to take account honestly, and a lot of time people think that means, oh, I got to cut it out. Oh, I got to do this. Nah, if you really look at something in the true essence of what it means in your life, it might be there for a reason. And if it goes against everything that your nervous system is used to, then you run from it and then you end up running back to it. Yeah, this is a loop because you haven't gained any discipline over your autonomy and not allowing the compulsive reactions of the mind and the body to have this control over you. And this is where a lot of mental isms come into play: frustration, living in the mind, not trusting yourself. All this kind of shit comes into play, right? Now, when you're talking about the strawberry, you got to understand strawberries are fascinating. Unlike many fruits, they carry the seeds on the outside. A lot of people miss this about a strawberry. You got think about it. Most seeds and a lot of fruit are on the inside of the fruit, right? See, this symbolizes something very profound. Your future always leaves clues on the surface before your present, right? See, people think destiny hides itself. It doesn't. Patterns hide in plain sight. A lot of people aren't aware of their own patterns because it's habitual. Now, when something is that's a comfort zone or something is your what is it? What we're gonna say is something is common for you. Something is your norm, right? See your words, your routines, your emotional reactions, your spending habits, your boundaries, your relationships. Everything has shown you where you're headed. You might not see it as such, but this strawberry moon simply shines enough light for you to finally notice it. So any nudges that you've been having in these areas, like damn, and let's just say, let's look at the things that you don't like, because most of the time the shit that people do like, you won't really take as much as account on that. But just look at things that you don't like, right? And just be mindful that these things could be shine. Some light can be shined on these things at this point with this full moon. Now, with the harvest energy, harvest doesn't mean abundance. A lot of people think harvest, they like, oh my God, it's gonna be this. You might go out there to that field and ain't nothing grown. See, harvest means I now experience the consequences of what I've repeatedly practiced. See, that includes love, money, health, business, friendship, self-worth, nervous system regulation, everything, every repeated thought, right, eventually becomes a reality. You know, they say there's an old saying in the Bible, so a man thinketh, so a man is, right? So if these patterns have become something that are normal to you, and you looking at your life, right? Now, this is like being diligent and steadfast. I'm gonna kind of get more off into this too, because Saturn and this full moon being in Capricorn, it brings in this Saturnian energy of shit being slow. And when you really understand this micro aspect of this moon, which I'm gonna talk about in a few minutes, how things that we want or things that are sustainable don't happen overnight. Shit takes time, right? And the impatience that we can have because we locked in instant gratification, survival mode, and we need money. Like, don't no bullshit. This reality every day, man. Shit. We all know right now in this reality, spending $100 outside is like having $20. This shit, $100 ain't shit no more. You know what I mean? Like, so when you thinking about it, the currency, the relationship that we have with the material realm is Saturn, is Capricorn. Now, when you talking about abundance being your birthright, that's why it ain't got nothing to do with money, right? Harvesting has nothing to do with money. It's knowing the abundance of life that you are and coming from that space. Now, this is how a lot of people create some of the best shit in their life, and it took them a lot of time to do it. It's like when Kobe said, "You weren't with me shooting in the gym," right? But everybody remember the championships and the 81 points and everything that Kobe did and what Jordan did, but they lost a whole lot of things. They missed days with their family, children, I'm talking about crucial moments in their children's life having a child. People don't understand the sacrifices that people make in the background, right? Because they just so busy being in the crowd. So when you truly understand that things take time, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm a living witness to this shit, because everybody know I came from a place all about instant gratification. I've really had to learn some patience and learn how to receive, and I will talk about that in a few minutes, because when you even dealing with this number of this day, because in numerology, we add up this day. This day energy equals a nine, right? Now, this is a universal day of a nine. This is very symbolic. Now, we know, I'm Sensei nine, we dealing with nine being a divine mind, and nine is so feminine or set, the principle of resilience, and everything that you do always comes back to nine. If you multiply any number down the number table times nine, it will give you back that number, right? Three times nine is 27. Two plus seven is nine, right? Nine times five, 45. Four plus five is nine. You can't miss nine, baby. So we talking about the nine. This is a feminine principle, right? Now, this is representing completion, integration, wisdom, humanitarian consciousness, mastery through experience, the teacher after the lesson. See, the nine, I said a lot of people miss this. Don't want y'all to really take this right here with you, because I ain't really talked about it from this perspective of the teacher after the lesson. Imagine somebody trying to teach you something in the middle of a lesson. Now, we all can go through this shit, because you can have a conversation with somebody, be talking to somebody, you trying to tell them something that you know damn well they don't know. And they be like, "Oh, I get what you saying." No, you don't. Let me finish. Like, man, I can't tell you how many times. Now, if I done been through what I done been through and I got the wisdom behind what I have, this is why nine is also connected to Sagittarius, the ninth house in astrology. Sagittarius people go through this a lot. That's why they always seen as somebody who's direct, there's know it alls, and can't nobody tell them shit. Because you talking about somebody that might look at what you've been through and where you at. Now, the difference with a Sagittarius is they have to ask themselves, is this a perspective or did I really get this lesson? Meaning, have I been through this shit? You can't be out there trying to teach somebody something that you ain't been through. Otherwise, these are your fears, your perspective that you're projecting onto somebody. Now, that shit is rampant in this reality. A motherfucker talk to you like they done it. And then if you ask them, well, have you ever been through that? Well, nah, but I got a homegirl. I watched them, and learning by observation is a powerful thing. Now, don't get it wrong. We ain't gotta go no, we ain't all gotta jump off a cliff to know your ass gonna die. Okay. You ain't so let's not be fucking foolish here, okay? But we talking about things that are privy to your life and how easy it is. You can want to go and do something and you gather all this information and it'll block you from doing it. That's why the opposite of Sagittarius is Gemini, right? Because everything in your thoughts don't equate to what's real. And the shit won't be real until you do it, until you put it into action, until you put it into practice. Now you can teach some shit because you done been through some shit. I tell my children all the time, I can only teach you how to fuck up because I done a whole lot of that in my life, right? So I'm not gonna tell you what to do wrong or what to do right. I can tell you where I done messed up at though. I can tell you that. And now I can leave you with your own life to make your own mistakes and learn your own lesson to gain your own wisdom, right? So the teacher after the lesson is very powerful because nine does not collect, nine releases. Therefore, the energetic question becomes, what have you outgrown that you're still emotionally carrying? See, a lot of people don't want to be real with themselves. They say they're not emotionally carrying some shit, but they repeat shit. I'm gonna tell you, people be in mental loops. You can have a conversation with somebody, they done repeated something to you two, three times, and they always talk about the same shit over and over and over. Like, and it's okay, it's not a knock on nobody who still realize that they live in this loop. But this is what this full moon gonna be illuminating. I'm just speaking from the moon. You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm doing right now. So what are you still carrying emotionally, right? That you should have outgrown? Because we're gonna talk about maturation, in a few minutes. Now, the soul lesson is many people think that growth means adding. You know, Spirit says growth often begins through subtraction. Now, if y'all done heard me talk before, if you really understand, because a lot of my shit is repetitive. I see it all the time, and I've been saying it for years. Your mind is a motherfucking madman. You gotta understand the mind, man. It's the trip because no matter how much I say this, people be like, "Yeah, I know, but it's still my mind, and it got me." How you? I don't understand if the practice that, and that's why if you would hear in the beginning, and you heard Sadhguru talk about you can even transcend death. You can literally now people have done this. This is a real thing. Okay. So I'm speaking from something that I've studied. Not of course I ain't died. So this ain't nothing that I've actually experienced. Okay. But when you truly look at the aspects of how people have died and came back, I've had conversation with people who died and came back. I've had conversation with yogics and sages and in Sedona and all kind of shit, right? People who've actually put these things into practice. Um, Even if you've seen somebody just on a literal sense die, I've been I would used to say I've been traumatized and all this kind of shit, but I've been privileged to watch a lot of people transcend. I've been privileged to watch a few people take their last breath. I've been privileged to be with people in their last days. Some of the most profound experiences in my life, to be totally honest with y'all. But when you are talking about the look on somebody's face, how somebody invites death in, will you smile in the face of death, or will you fight for more life? Will you fight for more time? See, so you got to understand when we dealing with the mind, that motherfucker is designed to gather and gather. So this is why I say you are not the mind and you are not the body. So being able to transcend the limitations of these things while you alive, what you think gonna happen when you have the awareness that you're dying? Okay, imagine somebody dying in their sleep, like my mother died in her sleep. Do you think people die in their sleep and they actually know that they did? So what does consciousness do if somebody's not aware that they're dead? They done showed this to us on movies and all this kind of shit, right? They lose discernment. This is actually a yoga practice. This is something that the Comedics talked about, and the Egyptians coming for the book of the dead, which is actually coming forth today. When you look at even the oracles of the Sibyls of Mamiwata, when you look at a lot of different things that people, the Enuma Elish, a lot of different ancient texts, people have talked about transcending the flesh, right? This is what the scripture. So this don't just talk about in this life. If you transcend the matters of the flesh in life, when death comes for you, you will know eternal life. See, y'all know I'm an ordained minister. I ain't gonna take y'all to church tonight, okay? But when you start talking about the subtraction part, your mind is only designed to add and multiply. That's all that motherfucker know how to do, really. You have to consciously subtract. Why you think so many people struggle with math? Because your mind want to do one thing: add, amplify, multiply, add, multiply, amplify. You got to be like, hold up, take that away, take that away, take that away. These are even the essence of the laws of Mayat and why we have an equal sign in the middle of every equation. So this Growth often begins through subtraction. Less proving, less chasing, less rescuing, less explaining, less performing, more embodiment. And see, the nervous system, y'all know one of my deepest teaching is this. The nervous system determines what consciousness can sustain. That's basically the essence of what I be saying when I talk about the nervous system. And a lot of people do a lot of talking, but they ain't really done this part of the real work. Not even, they don't even like the practice of it. People don't want to have a hard conversation. People don't want to stop saying yes with their lips and no with their heart. On the flip side, they don't want to stop saying yes with their lips or yes with their heart, but no with their lips. The imbalances that people have and the I would say the internal conflicts, right? This nervous system shit. So it won't sustain. See, this full moon is supposed to where your biology still disagrees with your vision. See, many people say I know my worth, yet their body still expects rejection. Don't get this shit twisted now. While I'm speaking to the contradictions here. How people can say one thing in their mouth, but your whole body and everything about your undertone, everything about that shit don't match. It don't match, right? You know your worth, but your body still expects rejection. How you gonna know your worth, but you expect? I feel like you weren't gonna call. I was wondering if you really see. No, I don't want to offend nobody tonight. Now I know it's easy for me to do when I talk now. So this ain't an attack on somebody, even though your ego might feel a little bruised when I talk. That's on purpose. Now I say I pierce the ego to get to the soul. You can't be out here talking about you know your worth when you over here playing these tiptoe games with your emotions and shit and saying it's somebody else doing it. How you know your worth and you even in this type of energy any motherfucking way? What is you talking about? Why are you a part of it? I don't care how good it feel, how good they sound, how much it might mean in your. See, this the authority that Saturn, this that Capricorn shit. See, then they say I trust myself, yet immediately seek some type of outside validation. Now we in the social media era. This shit is real right now. People will literally think that they see thinking you. If you think you don't know, a lot of people think they trust themselves. A lot of people think they know they worth, right? Then they say I'm ready, but then they freeze when the opportunity appears. Oh, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. Then I'm gonna tell you the flip side of that. A lot of people don't even recognize the opportunity when it's right in front of their motherfucking face. And a lot of people, just like the Bible say, confuse temptation with opportunity. You confuse your own selfish wants and desires, right? Because this is what you wanted. This is what feels good, right? Now this is, we all are here to pleasure, and we deserve that. This is not about that. I'm gonna speak a little bit more to that. I know I'm speaking real Capricornish and real rigid right now, right? See, the body tells the truth long before the mind admits it. See, when the opportunity comes and it's based on something that is comfortable, all right, how many times will you pass something up that you feel like don't fit it? It didn't come from who you wanted it to come from. Somebody ain't fitting your demands, what you thought it was supposed to be. But then a part of you might be looking back saying, damn. See, if you're able to remove all of these filters, all this nervous system shit, you'll recognize a real opportunity versus something that's a distraction, right? See, when the body begins to tell the truth long before the mind admits it, this is you being aware of what your body's telling you. Because your mind is a loop, remember, it's a madman. And if you ain't listening to the body, that means the mind is your ruler, the mind is your master. See, that's why the mundane influence when you're dealing with this moon, collectively, this moon shines light on economic priorities, career restructuring, leadership transitions, questions of sustainability, community responsibility, the balance between personal ambition and collective well-being. Systems that cannot sustain themselves often begin showing visible cracks under the full moon symbolism. As hidden tensions become easier to recognize, people can't hide that they mad no more, that you don't like your situation, your tolerance level low in the motherfucker right now. I'm just telling you, like it's gonna amplify for the next goddamn couple of days, but you really gonna feel it for the next 6 months. I'm telling you. So any type of lingering effects, they being in environments around people, places, and things and shit that you know damn well it's not in alignment for you and where you at, you gonna be able to recognize this shit like, God damn, why I'm so, yeah, the tension is gonna be, and if you got a lot of areas in your life to where this shows up, imagine how fucking cranky and moody you gonna be throughout the day. So you really gotta understand the power for this shit, because this moon is gonna ask everyone, can you become the person who no longer needs constant reassurance? I'm speaking to the mind right here. See, can you trust your own inner authority? Can you move because you align, not because you're afraid? See, masculine and feminine integration. The masculine asks, what are you building? Feminine asks, what are you becoming while building it? See, the man be like, I'm just doing it. But nigga, it's fucking with you. It's taking a toll on you. Your health ain't right. You drinking more beer. You just don't want to, you don't want to be touched. You don't want to touch me. I'm talking from a feminine perspective. Nigga, you ain't washing your ass like you supposed to. I'm just saying. Cause when you get so focused, that's the masculine principle. I'm just doing it. I'm just doing it. But you're not actually present for what the fuck you're experiencing. A lot of men go through this, and women can get distracted from that feeling to the point to where they nervous system and cortisol levels and estrogen levels to now the cycle is elongated, but they still going to work, they still showing up, they still making it happen. Nervous system all jacked up. You see how it plays out on two different ways? But it's going to affect the body, the health, because you can't hide energy. Remember, energy don't die. So this is what cancer. Why you think the opposite of cap? I'm getting too far ahead of myself. I'm finna hold on. Let me get there, okay? See, if one grows without the other, burnout occurs. This is why you can't have the masculine. That means you have to be present for what you're doing. Otherwise, you're just going through the motions of it. And this is how people fall in love with a system. I gotta have something to tell me the next step, what to do. The feeling is no longer there. Ignoring the signs of the body. And that energy just gonna build up frustration. Frustration leads to depression, and something is in deep rest. So this moon is going to reveal on the shadow side, people pleasing, overworking, scarcity programming. I ain't going to hold y'all. Being in the hood and being around certain people, I'm still removing scarcity programming. I'm still realizing how part of me is still used to scarcity and shit, because I was my first parts of my nervous system and what I was attached to was hustling. My mama was a hustler. My daddy was a hustler. Like, no bullshit. My mama sold pills and weed. My daddy sold pills and weed and heroin, and he was a killer and all kind of shit, and got hooked on drugs. My mama got hooked on pills, and so my see, you can't equate. You can't. You measuring your life by somebody else. You don't know what these folks done been through. You don't know what they mama and dad exposed them to. You don't know what these people's childhood was like. But we ought to comparing our life to somebody else. Your nervous system ain't set up the same way. You're not wired the same way. Even though we got the same chemicals, we all got the same chemical soup, but everybody's shit tastes different. Everybody's shit feel different. So all this imposter syndrome, comparison, I should have put coveting right there too. I should have went a little biblical with that one, right? Because a lot of people covet other people's shit, and you want what they got, and you don't even realize it because your nervous system is seeking it your whole goddamn life. The emotional avoidance, right? Avoiding the hard conversations, avoiding even sitting with your own shit and realize, you know what, this is mine to feel. Let me feel this before I actually go project it onto somebody else. Let me ask myself, is this even relevant? Where is this coming from? People don't have conversations with their own fucking emotions. These self-talks are critical. Old family conditioning, fear of success. A lot of people hear that and be like, I don't fear success. Well, if you need a man, that fear of success is so deeply rooted because I'm telling you, I done dealt with this doing this spiritual work. Oh, I don't give a damn about the world knowing my name. Oh, I'm just, I don't need it, man. Hey, man, the world will know my name. I done had to flip that, rewire that. Yeah, I want all the success that is meant for me in this life. So saying that I don't need money, right? That's how I started out this spiritual work. Oh, I don't need no money. Everything spirit gonna provide for me. Still holding on to religious mindset. And then I'm looking up and I'm like, when spirit gonna start providing? you know, then I had to realize, I had the realization I am spirit. I got to provide for myself. I can't be out of giving from an empty cup, going into these workshops and doing all this, genuinely showing up for people didn't get misunderstood and talked about instead of talked to. And I'm like, what's going on? And people like, yeah, well, I don't like the, I don't even know what I did. Like, you know, I can't tell you how many times I got into the spiritual community trying to hold hands. I got a Pisces South Node. I came in this motherfucker trying to hold hands, sing kumbaya, and these motherfuckers don't even like me. You hear what I'm saying? They thinking I'm competition and thinking then they realize I'm a jack of diamonds. Oh, yeah, always trying to sell something and shit, man. I ain't trying to sell you a goddamn thing. Like, man, when I tell you being misunderstood, even on the spiritual side, is fucking real, man. I really just got to the point to where I don't give a fuck because people gonna be who they are. That's why you don't see a lot of people still rocking with me because people done pick sides. But I stand in my own authority because I never needed them any goddamn way. So when you really be honest with your motherfucking self, that fear of visibility, yeah, you gonna see me. I'm gonna be in spaces and places to where you probably thought I wasn't, right? And I'm had a fear. I didn't want to do a lot of lives. I remember I dealt with this when I was working at UPS. Right, I was all shy on the camera and shit. Fear of receiving, boy. I have to. We'll be on this motherfucker 2 hours. Got another 2 hours if I start talking about this shit right here. This shit right here, nigga. Oh man, you talking about, boy? This fur right here whoop my ass. I'm gonna just tell y'all, it took me through there. All right, cause man, I got this. I'm a man. I'm this. I don't need nobody, man. I'm boy. Ooh, my ear. I'm talking about. I've been deflated like a, like on the cartoons, they be puffed up and somebody walk by with a pen and just stick them. Like boy, say I done been deflated. Not like on the with the red balloon. Not that kind of pen. Okay. But noticing which emotions arise without immediately judging them, right? It's gonna be very powerful right now, right? This moon is asking what part of your identity has expired, right? Where are you still negotiating your boundaries? What relationship only survives through your over functioning? Y'all already know what that simply means. If you stop doing all the shit you do, who gonna still show up for you? Who gonna still call you? Who gonna still check on you? Which one of these relationships require that you do a lot to make sure that y'all, if this thing is cool, and you literally find yourself the only one trying to do some shit, right? And this ain't talking about something where that it's somebody else's conditions or whatever, not allowing them to show up and they doing their best for you. You know that as a friend, you know that in the relationship wise. But people who you literally can ask yourself, if I don't reach out, if I don't do this, I won't talk to them, right? So what dream has quietly become a responsibility? You know, it's gonna be very powerful with this Pisces North Node, this question right here, right? Because we stop dreaming when something becomes a responsibility. When something you were so dreamy about, you want it so bad, and then we make it a responsibility. That's Capricorn. Oh, I dream of going here, but I don't know if I ever get it because I gotta work, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Now the dream is like met with some sense of scarcity, some sense of I don't have the resources versus becoming more resourceful. All right. The dream has been met with I can't afford it versus I'm finna find a way to afford this. See, I don't need them more, but I'm telling y'all straight up, I don't need them kind of people booking my services no more. Oh, wow, that's too high. I can't afford it. Nah, I need people that saying I'm finna find a way to afford your service because I value what you bring, Sensei. Hey, what you doing? I value that. I'm gonna find a way to make it happen. Hey man, I know we all going through it out here. Over 75% of Americans don't have $1,000 in their bank account. These are real fucking numbers. So that's why I do deals. That's why I do payment plans. Even as a herbalist, there is nowhere in America you can get a herbal regimen on a payment plan. Tell me where and correct me if I'm wrong, and I will stand corrected. Ain't nowhere you can go and pay for herbs on a payment plan. So I know ain't nobody doing what I do. And I do it because I do it for the people. This is not what I do, this is actually who I am. So I don't want this dream that I have to be present for people to become a responsibility. Okay. Now, what is your peace? Where is your peace? Um, Asking for stronger leadership. A lot of time we relinquish our peace for some of the smallest shit because you don't have the discipline to stay in your own lane, right? Because if you don't have an agenda for your life, everybody else does. You know, so you gotta be a stronger leader of your own peace. A lot of people just give it up and be like, "Oh my God, you just how somebody disturbing your peace? How are you letting somebody out when you got the right to say no? You got the right to let a motherfucker know I ain't doing that. You don't give up your sovereignty. Okay, that's the best way I could tell you to be a stronger leader of your peace. Even if people don't like it, even if they start not to like you, right? So embodying the essence instead of asking what should I manifest, ask what would the version of me who already has this naturally do today? So how can you move with that energy? Then do that shit. Like, and I'm gonna tell you the advantages of coming from the flip side of shit on the street side and having the money and waking up with it. I can still imagine the days where I woke up and did what the fuck I wanted to do, even if I don't have the money right every day to do that shit. I still wake up every day and move like my bank account is full, like I'm all right. Even if a part of me knows damn well I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do today. Sometimes I don't know where it's gonna come from. I'm still gonna move and do the shit that I do like I got a pocket full of goddamn money. Do it small, do it consistent, do it repeatedly. And that identity always precedes reality. This is alignment. So you can do some things in the rising. You can spend 20 minutes in silence before consuming media. Right, three ways you've already grown this year. Set one intention based on identity rather than outcome. All right. Afternoon, you can complete one meaningful task that you've been postponing, right? Whatever you've been procrastinating on. Eat nourishing food slowly and mindfully. This is something else I want to make sure that I reiterated on here, right? Having a relationship with your food, right? Not eating all on the go and really being mindful of how chewing the foods up. Even noticing moments when you seek external validation, right? You can journal what is ripening in my life, what feels complete, what no longer belongs in my next chapter. Before visualize yourself 6 months from now. Notice how that future version breathes, speaks, walks, chooses. Become familiar with that nervous system. Okay? Now, foods that symbolically align with this, because strawberry moon focus on seasonal foods that represent nourishment and harvest. Strawberries, cherries, blueberries, blackberries, fresh leafy greens, cucumbers, herbs such as mint, basil, lemon balm, oats, walnuts, pumpkin seeds, right? Eat with gratitude rather than urgency. Harvest energy reminds us that receiving is also a practice. Okay? Receiving is a real practice, y'all. I done had to learn to just shut up and just say thank you a lot of times, man, because you could start to over talk. Even when you talking about praying over your food, God let us bring it over. Oh my God, keep us and nourish us and do man, just receive. Just be thankful and just eat the food, man. Eat the cake at it, man. Now I release every identity that no longer reflects who I am becoming. My consistency is recreating a future my past could never imagine. I trust the wisdom my experiences have cultivated. My nervous system is learning to feel safe, receiving what I've worked for. Every aligned decision plants seeds for the generations beyond me. The universe doesn't reward potential, it amplifies consistency. Every harvest first looked like invisible work. I promise you that. Imagine, right, like I said earlier, you're a farmer, and I said this on a live, but you plant something in the yard, in the garden, and you start tending to other plants, other things that you're planting in garden. They might have grown faster than the other one. You kind of forgot about the other thing that you planted. And you go out there one day and you see a whole little bush of this thing that you planted. You like, damn, I forgot I even planted that. This is how things are about to show up in your life. All right. Peace isn't passive. It's evidence that your boundaries are finally working. See, the next chapter isn't asking for more effort, it's asking for more embodiment. Your future recognizes your habits long before it recognizes your goals. I'm telling you right now. So growth isn't becoming someone else, it's becoming impossible to betray your motherfucking self. You better goddamn know it. I should have put that on now. Okay. But this strawberry moon is not here to convince you that you are ready. It's here to reveal where you already are. The fruit does not apologize for ripening. The tree does not rush the season. The moon does not force the tide. Nature never confuses timing with delay. Neither should you. Your life is always becoming the shape of your repeated choices. This full moon invites you to pause, harvest your wisdom, release what has reached completion, and move into the next season, not with more force, but with greater coherence between your body, mind, and the life that you're actively creating. All right. Now, when we talking about the flesh, this is what I want to touch on this next part. All right. When you're talking about the ripening of the mind over the flesh, this has a lot to do with what's ripening on us and with us divinely. See, this is not just a full moon. This is a mirror. The sun in Cancer, the womb, the mother, the memory, the emotional body. The moon is full in Capricorn, the mountain earth, the elder, the structure, the consequence. People say it's karma. Saturn, Capricorn is consequence. You going to work and getting paid is not a fucking karmic thing. That's a consequence of you putting in time. You going and stealing and doing all my scamming and you going out here stealing a Louis Vuitton bag and then posting yourself with this song and then going to jail is not karma. Your dumb ass did something and that's the consequences of your action. I'll be wanting to talk about this so much, but do not confuse karma with consequences, y'all. People treat karma like it's a consequence. They're not the same thing. Oh, it's like you gonna get your karma. No, they're gonna get the consequences. So for some things that happen in your life, stop waiting on karma to do it and let motherfuckers feel the consequences. You see how I did that? Karma get them. Nah, you might supposed to get them. You might supposed to let a motherfucker know what it is instead of you waiting on some karma. Cause if they don't feel guilty, I'm gonna give y'all a little jewel. If they don't feel guilty about the shit that they done said or done to you, they're not going to experience karma. Why do you think the United States gets to do the shit that they do and don't experience karma on the levels that people want them to do? You want the slave master to experience karma, but yet these motherfuckers still in power, got oil fields and all kind of shit. They done transfer wealth over time. So do not confuse karma with consequences. See, this moon is asking us, can your inner child trust your inner authority? So a lot of people still dealing with their inner child. They 60 years old, 45 and 50 and shit, still talking about their inner child needs healing. You ain't got the authority yet. I'm just being real with y'all. Can your emotions be honored without letting them govern the whole kingdom? And the kingdom is your body and your mind all together. See, can the flesh desire comfort, but the spirit still choose maturity? See, can you respect your inner authority and act more with some maturity? See, this is the ripening of the mind over the flesh, not the rejection of the body, not the punishment of desire. This ain't to punish your desires, but the movement or the moment where consciousness says, my emotions are sacred, but they're not always sovereign. My body has memory, but my spirit has authority. See, the strawberry moon speaks of ripeness, harvest, and sweetness. The June full moon is a name tied to strawberry harvest season, not because the moon being pink, right? But because this one is a micro moon. The medicine is subtle. The harvest might not be loud. The breakthrough might not look dramatic. The fruit may be internal. A micro moon simply means that y'all know how we have a super moon. All right. I'm gonna kind of talk about that in a minute, but a supermoon is when the moon is more closer to the Earth. A micromoon is when it's kind of further away. So this moon won't look so big and bright in the sky. You're gonna see it, but it won't look as big and bright as a supermoon. That's basically all that is, okay? And of course, we're dealing with some micro energy, which is gonna be the moon is amplifying shit on a micro level. You gotta understand. It's like we're gonna deal with the smallest and the most deeply seated shit, especially with Mercury going into retrograde. Now, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is the elder, the timekeeper, the builder, the boundary, the consequence, the bone structure of reality, not just your body. People think the bone structure, you hear that, oh, my bone. Yeah, it rules your bones, but the bones of reality, the structure of reality. See, Cancer says I feel. Capricorn says, now what will you do with what you feel? What the fuck you gonna do about it? You know, like motherfucker, well, I feel you hurt my feeling. Okay, now I hurt him. Now what? Ah, you ain't gonna do shit. You just gonna cry, cry baby. That's why people call Cancer cry baby. But if a Cancer start crying, you might want to get your ass out the way, cause yeah, ain't no telling what they might do. See, this is why somebody hurt you if they crying. Capricorn kick in. Like, god damn, that motherfucker just went crazy. Yeah, stop playing with people when they emotionally distraught and shit. Get your ass hurt. That's why crimes of passions are real. See, Cancer remembers. Capricorn matures though. See, Cancer protects the inner child. Capricorn becomes the inner parent. God damn it, hold the fuck on. Wait a minute now. Hold up. Everybody done had to do this to themselves at some point in your life. See? So this full moon exposed to where people are emotionally living from the first wound, the first rejection, the first abandonment, the first time they learned that love meant over functioning. And Capricorn asks, are you going to keep letting an old emotional imprint make adult decisions? Ooh, shit now. Somebody screenshot this shit. You hear me? Tag me in it. Tell them I said it. Are you going to keep letting an old emotional imprint make adult decisions? How many children we got running around in adult bodies? See, that's the subconscious work. The subconscious mind under this moon. See, the subconscious mind does not speak in logic first. It speaks in patterns. It speaks in body reaction. It speaks in tension. It speaks in avoidance. It speaks in repetition. Under the Capricorn micro moon, the subconscious may reveal itself through delay, grief, control issues, emotional numbness, pressure in your chest, jaw tension, old family memories and shit, fear of failure, fear of being seen as weak, the need to prove, and the habit of carrying responsibility that were never yours to fucking carry anywhere. How many of us grew up too quick? Even if our parents might feel like we didn't grow up, and you had a beautiful childhood, and you over here like shit, man. I was going through it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm telling you, like you can't be mad about that. You get what I'm saying? Like you gotta fight. Hey, now you understand why you were. If you want to get the personal breakdown, I can help you understand what Cancer and what Capricorn and all this shit means in your chart. What Mercury retrograde and Cancer is meeting in your chart. See, Cancer is open to ancestral waters, baby. So this shit might open up some shit in you. You don't really understand it. You might actually want some clarity on why you feel what you feel right now. And the Capricorn full moon is going to expose the ancestral architecture. So the question becomes, what emotional structure did I inherit that I now call my personality? My personality. It's just my personality. What emotional structure did I inherit? And I now call my personality. See, some people call it discipline, but it's fear. Some call it loyalty, but it's guilt. Some call it independence, but it's really abandonment trauma. I wasn't trying to do no counseling sessions out here tonight, but yeah, I might take some questions. I might let y'all come on down to the altar when I'm done, okay? See, some call it strength, but it is really emotionally shutting down. It's, I'm strong because I don't want to feel shit. Ooh, I really need a hug, but I'm all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm independent, but I just don't like when people don't come through for me. That's why I'm so independent. Cause I can't stand when somebody say they gonna do something and they don't do it. Right? And I came through for you because every time I don't, you be acting some type of way. Blah blah blah. See what I'm saying? See, the full moon says you are not grown because you can endure pain. You're grown when you no longer build your identity around endurance. See, the micro moon medicine is gonna be a super moon pulls big. See, you gotta understand the micro moon whispers, you know. This is not external chaos. This is internal precision. A micro moon teaches you do not need emotional intensity to receive revelation. You ain't got to get all intense and go off into this place to where you damn near so broken and so distraught to where you finally let some goddamn clarity in. Because the moon is further away, it symbolizes its symbolism becomes subtle, distant, observational. It says step back, observe the pattern, stop identifying with every emotional wave. Okay. The micro moon gives you the ego view. It says you cannot master what you kept merging with. This is Capricorn's gift, detached without denial. Mercury retrograde in Cancer. See, let me pause right here, right quick. Because the gift of Capricorn is about detaching without denial. That's why a lot of Capricorns got to go through this kind of shit to get here. See, you cannot master what you keep merging with. It just ain't gonna happen. That's why Capricorn deals with the devil card in tarot. You keep merging with your own pleasures disguised as your pleasures, which is actually your fears and all of this shit. And you cannot detach from anything without acknowledging the attachment of the thing. You got to acknowledge your attachment to the thing, or time will do it for you. That's Capricorn, Saturn. And Mercury retrograde in Cancer. It began, on the 29th, the same day as the full moon, emphasizing that emotional memory. That's going to be that family stories, communication loops, and the need to revisit what the nervous system never fully processed. Mercury is the messenger. See, in mythology, Mercury, Hermes, travels between worlds, heaven, earth, and the underworld, right? Tahuti, that means Mercury governs translation, thought into word, feeling into language, memory into meaning, pain into wisdom. But Cancer, right? When you're dealing with this, Mercury does not just think, Mercury remembers. So this retrograde says, go back to the emotional language you inherited. How deep is that shit, right? How did your family communicate pain? Huh. I mean, how did your family deal with real shit? I know a lot of us deal with family sweeping shit under the rug, silence, sarcasm, high siding around each other. Y'all know the sarcasm. Y'all know everybody picking up on what's going on. Anger, withdrawal, control, overgiving, avoidance. Some of us still deal with this shit in our families right now. See, this is where the first 13 years of your life come into play. And Mercury with the first 13 years, the nervous system in the esoteric development astrology, Mercury is deeply connected to early learning, speech, perception, cognition, mimicry, right? And the nervous system, the first 13 years are when a child learns how to think, how to speak, how to interpret tone, how to read safety, how to ask questions, how to regulate emotion, how to respond to authority, how to process rejection, how to attach meaning to experience. So I don't know what your Mercury in. Mine is in Gemini and it's in the seventh house. The house of Libra, the house of communication, the house of relationships and shit. So the first 13 years of my life, I was subjected to a lot of this shit, right? Imbalances in these areas to where I had to learn and my nervous system had to get adapted to this type of energy. See, this is what a personal breakdown will help you understand. And before the child has full conscious discernment, the nervous system is recording the fucking room. The child is not just hearing words, the child is absorbing frequency. That means many adult communication patterns are not opinions, right? They're really early survival strategies. So Mercury retrograde in Cancer asks, what emotional language are you still speaking? Did you inherit your mother's worry, your father's silence, your grandmother's guilt, your family's fear of vulnerability, your culture's relationship with strength? This is not a blame. This is about liberation. So I'm not trying to blame nobody. I'm just trying to help you liberate yourself from this shit. Because once you can name the pattern, you can stop calling it destiny. Mars moving into Gemini. See, with this, Mars and Gemini fire to the mind, baby, the tongue, the hands, the lungs, the nervous system. Mars is the warrior, Gemini is the messenger. So this can become sharp words, quick reactions, scattered energy. I said it's fuck around and find out season. Motherfucker gonna put them hands on you with Mars and Gemini with no hesitation. I'm telling you right now. So nervous system agitation, mental overstimulation, verbal conflict, rushing decisions, fighting through language. But the higher octave is more powerful because Mars in Gemini says use the sword of the mind with precision, baby. You want your mind to be a motherfucking precision tool or a weapon that just cutting everybody, including you. Speak clean, move intelligently, train your attention. Made me think about Jason Bourne. Y'all know that movie Jason Bourne. He go through there. He can remember every goddamn license plate. You see that with a lot of agents, or they go through something with some type of training or some shit, CIA shit. See, don't let every thought become a command. Don't let every feeling become a message. Do not let every trigger become a conversation. Mars and Gemini is the warrior, learning that the tongue is a blade. Don't miss this right here now. And under Mercury retrograde in Cancer, that blade can cut old family wounds open. And if it's not governed by awareness, it's gonna be a motherfucking fight. Your words are not just communication. Your nervous system is instructions. Okay. Now with Chiron moving in the tires with this, because Chiron is gonna shift in the tires. It's already shifted in the tires. So the wounds into the body, the value, survival, food, money, land, pleasure, sensuality, self-worth, and the right to feel safe in your own skin. See, Chiron is the wounded healer. Taurus is the flesh, the throat, the earth, the body, right? It's the bodies I have. See, people say Taurus is I have, but they don't refer to what it's saying that you have, okay? You have all these things that are giving you autonomy over the system, able to speak, able to use the flesh, able to use this body for a tool. So Chiron and Taurus asks you, where did your body learn it was not safe to receive? See, I have Chiron and Taurus, right? This transit can expose wounds around scarcity, sensual shame, body image, food patterns, hoarding, all that kind of shit. Okay, financial fear, the fear of unworthy, like feeling unworthy unless producing. All right, this is also can bring about, but the healing is embodiment. The healing is embodiment, all right, not escaping the body, returning to it, okay? Because many people are spiritually developed, right? But somatically homeless. Don't miss this. A lot of people are spiritually developed, but somatically homeless, right? They don't have really any, that emptiness, that wholeness is not there. They can read energy, they can pull cards, they can interpret dreams, right? But they still cannot sit inside their own body without anxiety. Now, this ain't no knock on nobody. I'm just telling y'all how this shit go. Okay? Because a lot of people they ain't ready. They talk a lot of the talk, but they ain't walking the walk. See, Chiron and Taurus says the body is not the enemy of ascension. The body is the altar where ascension becomes real. You understand what I'm saying? This is an embodiment energy. And I'm telling you, with me living a life with Chiron and Taurus, I can't escape this energy even if I wanted to, and I don't want to. So when we start ripening of the mind over the flesh, now let's be clear with this. Now, when we say, mind over flesh, we're not saying suppress the body, right? That is the old wound or the old world control. We're saying let the higher mind become the shepherd of the lower impulse. This is where Pharaoh let my people go come into play. See, see, the flesh wants comfort, the nervous system wants familiarity, the ego wants control, the womb wants evidence that it was right. You understand what I'm saying? But the ripened mind says, I can feel the urge and still choose the future. That is maturity, not perfection, not denial. Maturity is when the body says react and the spirit says breathe first. The flesh says go back. The spirit says remember why you left. The wound says prove yourself. The soul says embody yourself. Do I need to read that again for the people in the back? See, even when you look at the hero's journey with this, right? This, like when you talking about the hero's journey and leaving the emotional village, because Cancer is the village, the mother, the bloodline, the origin story. Capricorn is the mountain. It's like the Mount, the Sinai, right? It's the test. It's the initiation. It's the elder self. This is why everybody in the Bible had to climb a mountain to go see God. You really got to peep the symbolism behind this shit, man. All right. So when you talking about the elder self, Mercury retrograde is basically Hermes to Hootie handing the hero a message. Before you climb the mountain, young one, go back and decode the wound so you can be ready for this journey. See, Mars in Gemini gives the hero the sword, all right, and it's giving the hero the sword of language, okay. But Chiron in Taurus gives the hero the scar in the body. You got to understand. So the journey is not defeat the world. The journey is stop letting the unhealed child hold the motherfucking sword because your accident waiting to happen. If the child holds Mars in Gemini, words become weapons. If the womb holds Mercury in Cancer, memories become prisons. If the fear holds Capricorn, discipline becomes punishment. If shame holds Taurus, the body becomes a battlefield. Now, I'm just speaking to how this shit done played out for a lot of us. I'm telling you, I done felt this shit throughout my life. All right. But when consciousness leaves, Mercury becomes wisdom, Mars becomes courage, Chiron becomes your medicine, Capricorns becomes mastery, Cancer becomes sacred memory instead of an emotional bondage that you lock the fuck in. See? So when you're talking about the chakras that are being activated, the root chakra dealing with that Capricorn Taurus energy, survival, bone structure, money, safety, time, discipline, regulating with grounding, walking, mineral rich foods, deep breathing, and financial honesty, being truthful with yourself about your financial situation. So the sacral chakra, Cancer, emotional, right? The womb memory, the family, the attachment, the intimacy, right? You regulate that with water, journaling, more hip movement, caring or crying without shame. Don't be ashamed. You got to cry. Let them tears out. It's my party. I can cry if I want to. Cry if you want to, goddamn me. And releasing the emotional guilt. The solar plexus dealing with that Capricorn Mars energy, dealing with authority, self-command, ambition, and direction. Because you want to regulate that. You got to complete some shit, set a boundary, right? Choose action over some rumination. Stop ruminating on shit. Stop overthinking on shit. All right. The heart chakra activation is going to be bringing in that Chiron and Cancer energy around that grief, compression, or compassion, receiving, even ancestral softness, right? That's like accepting that maybe I'm having to live in a liberation. I tell people all the time, when you heal 7 generations forward and 7 generations backwards, all right? That's forgiveness work, acceptance work, not as permission for harm, but we talking about it, but as a release from carrying emotional debt because it never was your shit to carry anyway. Those chakra aspects, especially with the Gemini Taurus, speech, truth, value, voice, nervous system expression, regulate that by speaking slower, humming, chanting, singing, and pausing before responding. Okay. The third eye activation is going to be Mercury retrograde. So that's memory, perception, interpretation. So regulate that by asking, is this truth or is it an old emotional lens? All right. Dealing with that crown, dealing with the Capricorn, the full moon period, that's going to illuminate that. We're dealing with spirituality, authority, divine order. We're dealing with maturity. So through prayer, silence, solitude, surrendering, and needing to control the timeline, right? You don't want to try to control when things happen. I'm telling you, this is one of my most. I'm sitting in this lesson right now, and I get it. I finally got it. I see it. I told the divine, I got it. Whatever energy out there, whoever listening, I got it. Okay, you hear me? So when you talking about the prayer, I ain't talking about big, and I ain't talking about down on your knees. I'm talking about sacredly speaking from a sacred place of knowing who the fuck you are. All right, and speaking from your own place of sovereignty. Now dealing with the cell salts, because man, there's many salts. There's salt in the ocean. The salt in the ocean is not the same when we're dealing with our bodies, but your body is full of cell salt. That's why your body is 72% water. These cell salts equates to each zodiac sign and what they deal with energetically and on the expression level of your organs. Now, when you talk about this symbolism is not a traditional medicine treatment, medical treatment, all right. But Capricorn connects with the bones, the teeth, the joints, the structure. You dealing with basically phosphorus. Basically dealing with calcium. Okay, this is like associated with the bones, repair structure, rebuilding. Cancer connects with the stomach, the breast, the digestion, emotional nourishment. You basically dealing with calcium fluoride. All right, this is associated with elasticity, tissue, tone, and inner containment. All right, how your body holds on to the food and shit, and you want to walk around just with loose bowels and just, shit like that. You get what I'm saying? Like how your body does retain and absorb. Okay, so Gemini connects with the lungs, the shoulders, the arms, the nervous system. This is like Cali sulfate. This is basically dealing with also potassium sulfate, dealing with the brain, all right, associated with the respiratory balance and the nervous system communication. Tyrus connects with the throat, the neck, the thyroid region, the voice, the jaw, sensual body. Cell house is nat sulfur, right? So this is basically going to be dealing with the systems for associated with fluids balance and elimination. The way you sweat, the way your kidneys, the way your bladder, all that still deals with secreting fluid. Okay, your saliva, the tears, your snot, all this kind of shit. Okay, now on a deeper message, Capricorn says strengthen the structure. Cancer says digest the emotion. Gemini says regulate the message. Taurus says return to the body. Now, here's some regulation things that you can do before speaking. Put your hand on your chest. Inhale for 4, exhale for 8. Ask yourself, is this my truth or my trigger? Before deciding, put your feet on the ground, relax your jaw. As is my nervous system choosing familiarity or freedom? Before reacting, name the body sensation. I feel heat, I feel tightness, I feel pressure, I feel fear. Once you name a sensation, you can stop becoming processed by it. Simple practice. A practice means you got to do it a lot. And I mean you do it one time, be like, I got it. Okay. So tonight, do not just write down what you want to release. Write down what you're ready to parent within yourself. Okay. Right, I'm no longer available to let my childhood nervous system manage my adult destiny. Then list emotional patterns that you inherited. Right. One way you betray your body, one conversation that you need to slow down, one responsibility you need to release, one structure you need to build, one pleasure you need to stop feeling guilty for. Okay. One truth that your body already knows. So, this strawberry moon is a micro moon. It's not here to make you louder, it's here to make you clearer. The fruit is ripe, but the harvest requires discernment. The mountain is calling, but the child inside you must feel safe enough to climb. This is where the mind ripens over the flesh, not through domination, through devotion, not through punishment, through presence, not through control, through conscious authority. Because the true master is not one who never feels fear. The true master is one who no longer lets fear make the decision. And that is the initiation of this moon. Feel deeply, speak slowly, choose maturely, build honestly, return to the body, and let your future recognize you by your consistency as shape. So that is what I wanted to definitely cover tonight for this full moon energy. Beautiful souls. So okay, let me see here. All right, so that was it. I definitely wanted to make sure that I just wanted to help y'all understand this Capricorn Cancer energy from a different perspective. Hopefully, you learned something new. If you learned something new about this energy, put a 1 in the chat for me. Anybody who is interested in getting the breakdown, the transit breakdown for yourself, make sure that you hit me up, text me, inbox me, or whatever, and I will get on that for you. Of course, it will come with a personalized ritual for you as well. Okay, so anybody that's done got my transit reading, y'all already know how I rock with that. All right. So making sure that you really you want that breakdown or you want to see what this retrograde, all this information means for you. And I like to tell people, man, don't let retrograde energy make you think it's a time not to do stuff. People be like, yeah, you don't do stuff, man. Mercury retrograde 6 months out of the year. If you find yourself not doing shit 6 months out of the year, no. So learn what Mercury retrograde means for you. Mercury retrograde is always about slowing down, being more intentional, being more mindful of what you're doing. Dot the I's, cross the T's. Mercury in retrograde and Cancer, like what I said, just want you to make sure this shit is right for you. Make sure it feels right. Do something to make yourself feel good. It might be your inner child speaking to you. So peace and love to you all. Gratitude to you all. And of course, if y'all want to give any donation, y'all know my cash app is Sensei9. All right. I will put this recording on my YouTube. Okay. So don't forget if you do want to book the special or you want to get that $99 breakdown, make sure you book it. So I appreciate you all for your time and energy and all that good shit. And enjoy this full moon. Peace and love. Namaste.